Hello and welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast. Wow.
Podcast.
Look at that. 2 episodes and we're already in sync.
Man, we're Michael's fired.
We're on the same wavelength, you and I.
Yeah.
We're right there. Not as much as you and the guest of this episode. You guys blew my mind.
We got into it. I was pretty quiet for a little bit.
You were
of
pretty
it,
quiet.
But on the second half.
I feel like that Liquid Death's really calming down. The buzz is wearing off.
This is
hasn't even been opened yet.
I wasn't going to say that.
Here's the deal. For everybody listening, I just want this to be public.
I requested that by name.
Casey had me go to a gas station and purchase the Liquid Death to let it heat up.
If you're going to do things, you got to do them right. If you're going to do a podcast, you have to have an unopened Liquid Death near you.
Yeah. We do love Liquid Death, and we hope they sponsor.
We're doing ad reads, and nobody's paying us.
Nobody's even watching. That's the crazy part.
I'm in another man's house right now.
He is. Thank you for being here, truly.
Yeah, no problem.
He drove all the way from the middle of nowhere for this, and I appreciate it. Somehow he still managed to talk shit about where we are now. It's all in the episode.
Somebody brings me up. I'm not going to say who. Nobody knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They bring me up as the Middle Tennessee Menace. And I'm like, I haven't said anything, but
Pretty
Tellico
cool.
is East Tennessee.
Well, it's a cool name.
It's actually the most east you can be in Tennessee without being in another state.
Oh, right. Well, hey,
so
close enough. It's close enough. Thank you for being here. Today we were back with, I said the long-awaited guest of the episode because it was not that long ago. Jon Pruett. Pruett's back. Pruett's back. I knew when I decided to have Casey on, I knew that there were a few names I wanted in here, and Pruett's obviously one of those. And he's back, and we love him so much. Great advice from Casey.
Fantastic.
Great stories from Pruett.
Honestly,
it's good.
Everything went well.
God.
Yeah.
Are we going to fuck after this? What's the deal?
You can drive back to my barn. We can keep this party going. Podcast in the barn.
Yeah, after party. If you're listening to this, you're 2 weeks late, but after party at Casey's barn. Enjoy the episode. Bye.
Right.
Welcome back to the Talkin Bits podcast. We are back with the long-awaited return of Jon Pruett.
It's been 2 whole hours since you heard my voice again.
It's been 2 full weeks since they've heard you. No, we had Pruett on. As soon as I found out Michael was out of town, I thought, God, I actually want to have fun for a change. So I'm going to invite Pruett on so that we can have a good time.
Yeah, and I'm not sober this time, so yeah, we're definitely gonna.
Right,
I mean, it is Bud Light, so it doesn't really count.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Joining us with Pruett, of course, is my fill-in co-host, Mr. Casey Shearer. Welcome back. Our listeners are hopefully familiar with you after last episode.
They're gonna be like, those guys are wearing the same clothes.
Right. That's just a coincidence.
You say co-host. This is a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
I just found the deed to the house. It's wrote my name on it.
Yeah.
This is all my stuff.
I knew I shouldn't have let you go upstairs on your own.
There's too much.
Yeah.
It's my cat.
He's taking cats out of the house.
Yeah.
He's here. He's not here to take part. He's here to take over.
Yeah. This is I'm Michael Rose now, basically.
Wow. I guess Michael just got taken to the dentist.
Yeah.
We've hashed it out. So much.
The whole last episode we talked about.
Has anybody ever talked to Jon Pruett about the times where I've made people laugh?
No, not at all. I have no clue who you are, except for your stage name is Isaac Yankum. I mean,
we met once at the lightest open mic Blue Ridge ever had.
It was 3 people. It was 3 comics, and that was it.
And it was a good time to be there. Well, Casey, I do want you to know, just so we can set the record straight, Pruett and Travis were the 2 humans standing there when I told that story. So that's how they both are aware of it. Yeah. It dies here, except for that we talked about it for 90 minutes.
The only thing
episode.
The only thing I wish is that a better comic was telling that story.
Yeah, I didn't do it justice, I think. I didn't really tell it.
Keith should tell the story. I mean,
I'm sure he has a version of it.
He'd probably make me never work again, you know.
He'd see to it. No, so we're back with Casey, we're back with Pruett. Pruett, this episode is going to air right before Thanksgiving, and in the Travis and Kayla episode, we did a fun little thing where we did a Thanksgiving draft.
Yeah.
We each had to pick a food. We got a plate with 3 items, and I'll say I love Kayla very dearly. Mm-hmm. What a fucking terrible plate she had.
Plate.
Casserole Kayla.
Casserole Kayla, they call her. She picked 2 casseroles, and then she asked if she could pick pumpkin spice latte for the 3rd item. Yeah. So she had a divorced mom plate, basically, is what we decided.
She's not in charge of picking plates anymore. I'd say.
Fucking white women, dude.
I know. She definitely went. She went PSL on the last one, which is interesting. There it is again. And I'm just showing off.
Just initializing everything over here.
Yeah, that's from my time as a barista. I used to Sharpie PSL on a lot of cups back in the day.
Right on.
Starbucks.
We didn't do that.
Yeah, sure did.
Private coffee shop. I was like, hey, somebody's got a coffee on the bar. Come and get it. You know,
that was your level
and
of barista.
Then if nobody came and got it, like after a few minutes, I'd be like, hey, the next person in line's getting a free coffee if somebody doesn't come and get this one. And then I'd give it away.
You sound like a great barista. It's amazing you don't work for that company.
No corporate, no HR. One time somebody said, can I get this latte, but can I get it cold? And I said, yeah, if you leave it there for a second. And I knew who they were. There was a close friend.
Did you? Oh, okay. I was going to say, how was that received?
It was a friend. They laughed, but
yeah. Are you going to be doing that at the open mic?
Yeah, we're going to be doing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Along with the dentist office material.
Yeah.
Just wait. Oh, we're coming
fucking
back.
Kyle Petty Jr. over here just fucking killing it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Night shift factory people think I'm great. So.
I bet they do.
They should.
And they have a high level of standard.
For people who are sleep deprived and working for
alcoholics.
Nothing. Yeah. You crush. Yeah. Interesting. Did you ever really have like a bad encounter as a barista? I had a few. I had some ridiculous customers.
So I went back to help a couple of times on like event days, like festival days.
You're volunteer barista?
I will, yeah, because I love. It's my favorite job.
I love you.
Yeah, it's a fun job.
You look like a volunteer barista.
I love being a barista. But this lady one time was like, she wanted like a coffee just with cream in it, and she said if you can handle that in a very snooty way, and I was like, hey, like, I'm a professional. I'm a maintenance technician.
I'm here off the clock.
Take your car apart, lady. But I was like, there's nothing cool I can say to make this. To flip the power dynamic, because at the end of the day, I'm wearing an apron.
What is it about you think that made this lady assume you couldn't handle?
I don't know if she had been there before and had a bad experience.
Maybe she saw that the cream was in a big container, and she was like, I don't know if he can lift all that. Like maybe she was worried about the size. Is that what
she made me so mad? I wish she was evaporated. Right then.
Pruett, did you ever work customer service before? I know, obviously, the military and then your job now, but did you? You interacted with folks, sort of.
At the soda company, you'll have to beat that.
At the soda company, you sort of interacted with people before.
At the soda company, that's one of the top.
One of the leading, right? One of the leading.
Yeah, I did have to be nice to customers, and I absolutely fucking hated it.
Right.
I got a couple of talking tos by my boss because like I hated that job. I mean, like deep. Just despised that job.
Oh, yeah.
And I lost my shit a couple of times at that job. And it would always be like, hey, look, if this happens again, we're going to have to do something. And I'm like, yeah, fucking do something. Please fire me. I am begging you to fucking fire me.
Yeah.
So, when I've had customer service jobs, I've not done well.
Unemployment's
with it because,
not bad.
Yeah. I mean, like
unemployment?
Mm-hmm.
I straight up told my boss at the soda company that I would much rather be in Baghdad getting shot at than do that fucking job ever again.
Yeah,
and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, and I've been there twice. So
well, your job though isn't even really solely customer service. Also, like I'm talking more like I was never a waiter or like a wait staff. I think that's the worst of the worst.
No,
I do think everybody should have to do something.
Yeah, I'd definitely be in jail if I had a customer service job like that.
Were you ever a waiter?
We did food, and we didn't have like any actual waiters. So we ran the food, and when there was some weird stuff because we didn't have the same menu every day. We had a different entree. So people would come in and be like, well, we want this thing we had yesterday. And I was like, well, guess what?
We don't have that no more, Skater.
That. Yeah. And we had our chef. He was a real chef, but I don't know why he was here in Tellico, but he was an animal. And it was a small building. So like one time, and chefs, if like they want to make what they want to make. Yeah. And then they have to make whatever's going to make the restaurant
human beings
money.
A chef.
Yeah. So they have to give up a lot of their artistic freedoms, honestly, to make money like anybody else does.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm doing this show.
They can usually bitch about it pretty loud. Nobody cares because they're in a kitchen. But our kitchen was wide open.
Right.
And you could hear everything.
Oh, so he's just going off the rails.
I took a lady's plate back because she didn't like what she ordered. And she said, I didn't like this sandwich. It was too spicy. And she ate everything but the crust. And I looked at her like she was retarded. I mean,
due to the fact that she's a retarded.
It caught me
right,
so off guard, and I was like, I blew it. I already blew this. And I went into the kitchen. I said, hey, David, this lady didn't like her sandwich. It was too spicy. And he was like, well, she ate everything but the fucking crust. He starts yelling. I was like, nope. She's sitting right there. And he's like, I don't give a shit. And he made a lot of poop jokes and it was just a nightmare.
Just your typical chef, really.
Yeah. So I had to call in the owner.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, here's the whole situation. Just go give this lady a free sandwich.
All that over a spicy sandwich, huh?
Yeah. And it was a good sandwich. But
if he was, here's the difference, though, between a chef and a cook. So a chef will lose their shit.
Yeah.
A line cook will be like, no problem. Make the sandwich, rub it on their taint, put it out to the customer.
One spit on the bread and good deal.
Just be like, okay.
I do think so. Like my girlfriend's never worked in customer service really at all. Like she does now a little bit, but she never did wait staff or fast food or anything like that. And I think there's something to it. Like I and she won't mind me saying it. Sometimes when we go to dinner, I'm not super pleased with the way she interacts with wait staff. We'll say that. Well, I think that because she's never.
That's a building block of a relationship, dude, and that's something y'all might need to talk about.
We've talked. It's now a running gag.
Call her. Bring her in
knows.
Here.
She knows. Here's what I think it is that she's never had to do. She doesn't understand how fucking terrible it is to be a waitress. So when she's like, I asked for lemon, and I'm like, just be a person and don't ask. Just literally, I didn't get my entree. I'll just not eat it then. Yeah.
Bring your own lemons.
I'm today. I went to get this coffee today. They gave me the wrong coffee. What did I do? I was like, thanks. I left. I threw it away. I didn't even drink it. That's me.
Now, okay.
That's the other extreme.
Right. Yeah. See, I am. Like with most things in life, I'm pretty much down the middle.
Sure.
If something is messed up, I'd be like, hey, look, I know this wasn't your fault, but this is messed up. Can we how do we remedy this?
I think the lady today even said, is this what you had? And I said, yes, it is. And then I threw it away and I left.
And so, I mean, like, you are a gargantuan vagina.
Yeah, but I can't do it. I don't
I'm not at that level, but
I don't like confrontation. More than that, I don't care. Here's the real thing. I don't think I care enough.
How much was that cup of coffee?
Probably $5.
Okay.
I don't think I care enough for $5 to go, hey, actually, this isn't what I ordered. And then they're like, oh, it's not? Well, you can go fucking kill yourself or whatever they would say in that moment that my anxiety is telling me it's not worth it. I think there's definitely a happy middle between Haley and I. But sometimes when she interacts with wait staff, I go, oh, I want a divorce. That's what I think. And we're not even married.
Yeah. We're going to eat at separate tables from now on.
Yeah. Like, you put her food on top of the toilet. Right. Okay.
No.
But no, I think, like I said, with most things in life, you need to kind of be in the middle. You know? So, like, you can't be one extreme or the other.
Right.
And
you can't only have sex with women.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, mouth is mouth.
You got, hey, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, I mean,
that's actually why we asked you to come back.
And this is not, and it would not be the first time a beard has tickled my nuts. I mean, you know, have you seen the chicks in North Dakota?
I do want to say I designed some stickers for Pruett, and mouth is a mouth is actually the next design that is coming. So if you'd like to pre-order those, hashtag mouth is a mouth.
Hashtag skull is skull.
At Pruett Comedy. Those stickers are coming soon. Casey, so on the last episode when we did the Thanksgiving draft, we never really officially said who had the best plate. I don't think it was me, myself, personally. Casey did have some solid picks. So we just want to ask you real quick, if you had 3 Thanksgiving items on a plate, what's your go-to picks?
Okay, so number 1, we don't do turkey, we do ham. Love it.
So big fan.
Ham.
How do you feel about a smoked turkey, just hypothetically?
Does that change it for you? I like it, but I still, ham.
Is a ham good?
Yeah, nice big ham. And then deviled eggs.
Good. Nobody
did anybody else?
Nobody had deviled eggs. I personally am not a deviled eggs guy.
Uncouth heathens.
For me, it was a conscious decision because I'm not an eggs guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
But everyone else, I think, just missed it.
I'll scarf deviled eggs. Yeah. And then, depending on who makes it, the stuffing. Like the stuffing is a big thing, and now, it depends on who makes it.
This is a big topic of conversation on the last one, because my question to you is: you popping that stovetop box? Is that what we're doing? Are you being a real fucking American? Or are you going to be fucking communist and crumble up some cornbread and put some raisins in there and I'm going to have to kick your ass?
No fucking raisins.
Okay, good.
What the shit?
Okay,
you
good.
look me in the eye when you ask me that.
So once again, you're in the middle on this.
Yeah.
You're not stovetop, you're not raisins.
I like stovetop, but I have had better stuffing than stovetop.
Now, I don't want this to... I would assume that by looking at me, you could guess where this story's about to go. But oftentimes...
Straight to your hips.
Oftentimes as a kid, I would get off the bus at my dad's apartment, and he'd have no food. So what I'd do is I'd take some stovetop and some water, a little pat of butter. I'd put that bitch in the microwave, and my after-school snack was a nice little fluffy bowl of stovetop stuffing.
Yeah.
Not even during a particular time of the year. Maybe in July. Maybe I did July stuffing at 3 p.m. as a kid. And it does show, but I just wanted to share that with you.
Somewhere along the way, I think that a raisin had done you wrong. There's been a lot of raisin hate coming out of Nathaniel.
But there should be raisin hate.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am perfectly okay with raisin fucking genocide.
I don't want them to be in my bread.
I'm a raisin.
I don't want them
like
to be in my
raisins.
fucking trail mix. I don't want them to be in my fucking anything.
I'll go for
raisins.
trail mix.
Should not. No. Fuck raisins.
I'll go.
And whoever started putting that shit in potato salad, I want to find them. I want to find their fucking address, and I want to kneecap them.
I've never found one.
Well, I don't know who it was, but I know they were white. For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
They probably live in a very specific region.
Raisins
maybe,
are
because all this,
they're
like,
spicy,
white people put raisins in fucking potato salad.
Everything.
Not in the South, they don't.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of that.
Keith Marcel.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some
chicken salad.
fucking white.
I'm saying I've experienced it. I'm not saying
he's not saying it's right. He's saying
me
it
as a single man, I'm never gonna make a chicken salad.
No, you're gonna do.
I'm gonna buy it from a grocery store
and get it in a plastic cube.
I'm not gonna make. Yeah,
right.
Jeez.
A plastic cube.
Food City really comes in clutch for a single guy.
And it's good.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of different chicken salads that are good.
Well, just like Food City will sell you a cut up onion.
Yeah.
And it's
they will.
This is fucking great.
They will. I've bought it on a number of occasions. Yeah. Or my favorite is the packs that's like stir fry mix and it's just green pepper and onion. And you're like, well, I could have done that, but I don't want to.
Now I don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
They put a little paprika on there for you. Game changer.
Well, speaking of, single dudes and eating and all that good stuff. Cracker Barrel is doing like the takeout Thanksgiving kind of thing. So like, could you imagine a ham from Cracker Barrel or turkey, whatever y'all into? They got both, but the dumplings and the hash brown casserole from fucking Cracker Barrel.
I might not even go to my family's Thanksgiving now that I know this.
You can order it and pick it up and take it home. Right. So like, I would not have to look at any of my family and just sit in front of my TV and drink whiskey and eat.
Yeah. The next episode of this show will actually just be the three of us doing exactly that in this room right now.
Because everyone will have left us.
Hiding from our families.
My children will be like, Dad, you didn't want to spend Thanksgiving with us? And I'm like, wait, no.
He was like, no.
DoorDashing Thanksgiving is rock bottom. Just for the record, if you're DoorDashing Thanksgiving.
You can get a turkey from Bojangles. I don't know if you know that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Popeyes is slinging them now. They're doing the Cajun turkeys.
Popeyes is still, it's a rarity. We have a Bojangles.
He made this point on the last episode. First of all, he talked shit about Johnson City, then went on to say that Popeyes was an elusive mecca of an institution.
So far away from a Popeyes.
What is the name of your town again?
I live in Madisonville, but it's next to Tellico Plains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So two places that nobody has never
what he just
heard
said
of.
was go to the middle of nowhere.
The place you gave as a reference to the place that no one knows about. The place you gave as a reference to that place nobody fucking knows about.
Yes. Casey basically, if you ask Casey where he lives, he goes, have you ever been to the middle of nowhere? And you go, yeah. He goes, right. Further than that.
It's a little bit further than that.
Start at the middle of nowhere and get lost, and you'll find me.
You can't be from one town where I'm from because they don't all have everything you need. Like, one town has a Food City, and then the next town has a Walmart, but they're not in the same town.
Right.
And
they share a stoplight somewhere in the middle.
So,
of the two. Yeah.
And the cops are,
honestly, it's not that much different from Bristol. I'll be honest.
We have a bunch of shared high schools. Like, we have several high schools where like several different actual separate populated towns go into one high school,
and they fight all the time.
And there's still like the class sizes. Like my graduating class was 100 people, so. That's
decent. That's not tiny.
3 junior highs feed into that high school.
Okay. So junior high has 30 people each in it, is what you're saying?
No,
at one
per
time.
grade.
One of them.
So it has about 90 in it.
One of the schools that feeds into there, we get maybe 3 people from that school every freshman, year.
3 people.
3 or 4.
I went to
and they're always named Mordecai and Peter.
They all work at the log yard.
A lot of fresh butter at lunch. It's a great part of the world. I graduated college with a
barn
dude.
in a day. It's fucking crazy.
There's a guy that I graduated college with. He went to a private school and he graduated with 7 in high school. 7.
Nice.
That makes me want to die.
Yeah.
Immediately
How did they do
you all
prom
have
night with
chlamydia.
7 people?
Immediately you all have chlamydia. Right, there's one odd man out.
Yeah, some girl had to be a whore out of necessity.
Went with 2.
Yeah, you can't even not faulting it.
Either that or some dude had to really sling it.
Being the town whore
It's a lot of pressure.
in a town of 7 is rough.
Yeah.
That is a lot of pressure.
You have to.
That's a lot of pressure.
Youth group in that town.
It was tough for me being the town whore, and we have thousands of people. I can only imagine.
See, like I automatically feel bad for that guy or girl because I've been in a 3-way and it was just extra work.
So your stance on threesomes.
I'm still right in the middle with it. I'm like, either way, it's extra work.
Well, see, now this is not my joke. This is an old meme that I think is very funny, where it's like talking about threesomes, and it says, "If I wanted to disappoint 2 people at once, I'd have dinner with my parents."
Oh yeah,
that's a perfect take.
One.
That's a perfect take. Yeah, you got to do all that at one time. Casey, let me ask you this: is there? I would imagine that in a town like where you're from, is there like maybe a guy who is locally famous based solely on his billboard appearances? That feels like that type of town. Is there like a 555 lawsuit number guy on a billboard?
I don't know if we have any local people on the billboards.
You're like, what's a billboard?
Yeah. We had a guy
the big postcards next to the road.
Right.
We had a guy, this sounds like a Theo Von story, but it's not. But there was a guy that lives at our Walmart who looks like a ZZ Top guy.
He lives at, now when you say
at the Walmart.
As in a minivan. In the parking lot.
He is a tent guy.
And
he's got a minivan.
He's got a van. And people, they tried to give him a job. And he was like, no. Why would I want a job? I'm living for free in this minivan.
It's a fair question.
Yeah. And he would just hang out.
Been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
He would come to the Bojangles when I worked. They would walk over there and people would bring him food for a long time.
Oh, you were on Bowtime for a while.
Yeah, I was on Bowtime.
Oh, wow.
I was doing some Bojangles work.
Now, Pruett and I, both being from this region in North Carolina, share a fondness for Bojangles.
Absolutely.
We've discussed.
Absolutely.
In fact, Pruett and I shared, we went out of our way to track down and sample the spiked Bojangles tea one time. Oh, and I'll say,
I didn't even know about that.
Probably the biggest crime against Bojangles.
It is. It's actually
no good.
And
no good at all.
I was so looking forward to it.
How do they fuck up spiked tea?
It's pretty bad.
It was horrid.
It did not.
It tasted like unsweet tea.
Right.
And
in my opinion, all you have to do is take your tea
and put beer in it.
Put beer in it.
Yeah.
Put anything in it.
Yeah.
Now, if you take their tea and put
and spike
and put 2 airplane bottles of lemonade vodka.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now you're talking.
Nice.
That's a normal.
It didn't taste like that. It didn't taste like that.
Yeah. What came out of that can was it was offensive.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we went to an Ingles cold single can section to find it.
Yeah, we went across the state line.
Right.
Before an open mic in Asheville.
Yep.
Went across the state line.
Yes.
Hit this up. Got our Bojangles sweet teas out of the cooler.
We're pretty excited.
We were happy as shit. We're getting ready. We go into the open mic and we're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We crack it. Take about a sip and a half.
Pretty bad.
And we looked at each other and we started to cry a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
We also came back with a glazed donut for CJ Green, this black comic that we do. He specifically requested the glazed donut from the Ingles Bakery. Oh. And we delivered. We brought it back. And he was pretty stoked about it. He was pretty thrilled.
That's the boys coming through.
That's what we're there for.
Yeah. Right Neither of us have gotten booked in Asheville, but
that's true.
Okay.
And it may have something to do with it. There's a chance that that's related. Casey,
that's a lie, by the way. I've gotten booked in Asheville. If anybody from Asheville actually watches this,
they don't. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah. They don't even have internet right now. They can't.
They do. They do. Yeah.
They're watching this on a generator. God, imagine using gas power to listen to this show.
That's how I've charged my phone many a time.
That's rock bottom. Forget what I said earlier. That right there is the worst.
Yeah, just sitting in my car to charge my phone.
Yeah, just listening to who's Talkin Bits.
Talkin Bits.
Casey, I want to ask you and Pruett both this because I think that the interesting thing about Pruett, and since you two don't know each other on such deep level, interesting thing about Pruett is you would look at him and I think you would make certain assumptions about him, including his music taste. But what I would say is that you two are actually relatively far apart on your music taste, despite the way that Pruett looks, which would make you assume that Casey would like. So here's a little something. If you guys are game for a little something, it's something I've been wanting to do on the show for a long time. We're gonna play a little game here. It's called the word game. So I'm gonna count down from 3. On 3, you both say a word, and on the first one, I would hope you're gonna be far apart. We're gonna see how many rounds it takes for you to say the same word at the same time, right? So if that do you understand
just
what I'm saying?
Any word,
any word,
and you don't you're not giving us any prompt.
Nope. I'm gonna count down from 3. You're gonna say a word, and you're gonna be far apart, and then you'll get a couple seconds to go. Where's he going with this on the next word? And then
so try to work toward each other.
Right. You're trying to say the same word. That's the goal.
Okay.
We understand. We do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I'm gonna count down from 3. We'll try it. We might cut this out. We'll see. We're gonna count down from 3. Okay.
I'm going for it.
You ready?
All right.
Okay. Well, don't. Okay.
No, I'm going.
The N word is off the table.
Somebody said it. Well, I know. Look, nobody said that.
He looks like he has actually
Everybody
said,
knows where
"I've been
this is
fucking
going."
with my eye hole."
Listen,
Casey looked at me with big round eyes and said, "I'm going for it." And in that moment, I knew I had to say.
somebody said it at an open mic in Chattanooga, and it wasn't anybody that you would have thought. It wasn't anybody who works.
It wasn't a black person.
No. And out of the white people,
It was the whitest.
yeah, but it wasn't anybody who
What were they
does
wearing?
shows. I mean, just like a t-shirt and
What brand though? I'm saying, was it like a Simply
black
Southern
shirt
shirt?
with a little pocket on it?
Oh, so it wasn't like a
I'm just
Vineyard
kidding.
Vines.
No, I can't even remember his name if I wanted to tell you.
I just realized who he's talking about. Was
He's
that
talking
Travis?
about himself.
He was. Yeah, no, it wasn't me. And
With
that
his
can
little
be
fake pocket on his arm.
I don't even know what that's. I got this at a Burke's in 2012, probably.
That's there for
That's for
cigarettes.
your cigarettes.
Yeah.
I just stayed small so I didn't have to buy new clothes. It's working out.
It's a good call. It does save on money if you just don't grow.
So, but anyways, yeah, I was like, that's not who I thought was going to say it. And I missed it. I was outside. I came in.
Damn.
The place was on
Is there
fire.
anything more heartbreaking than being told you just missed an N-word?
And it was just after the election.
because you
for
don't
the
hear them a
record.
lot. And
Yeah.
then when you do, you're like, fuck, I was
Well,
right there.
I opened that mic after the election. I had a camo hat on.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this what you guys want up here right now? Is this what you want to see, Chattanooga?
Not at all.
And I don't have any jokes that are even marginally like
Political.
political or that are
Well, you
going
don't
to be
have any
divisive.
jokes. You could have just ended there.
Yeah, just
I was hoping you'd just stop there. I don't have any jokes.
I don't have any jokes at all.
Right.
So yeah, I hate that I missed it. But we had a big talk. We all came together and agreed. Maybe not. You know, probably not.
Maybe another 4 years on the N word before it's back. Because a lot of people right now in comedy, especially, they want to talk about how the R word is back. You know, we're saying retarded, no problem. A lot of people say Shane Gillis, it's out there. You know, he did it on Saturday Night Live or whatever. But here's what I'd like to know: what white comic is going to bring the N word back for us? And it could be you, Casey. It could be you.
Listen, it's being tried. And it's not being accepted.
That's
It's not going well.
There are some people out there that are real litmus strips for the N word. They're out there trying it, and the reactions are not the color you
I
want.
did hear it one time at Scruffy, but
Really?
it happened very quick, and I don't know if anybody else heard it.
Oh,
and
wow.
we just kind of, that guy wasn't working. Like nobody.
It was just in the bathroom.
Nobody you're going to see on a show ever is doing it. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's true.
Of what the people that I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as locals
So like,
go.
yeah, if you go to
You're
a
covering
show,
your tracks right now. is
I'm
what
just
you're doing.
saying. Yes,
He's getting nervous.
I am. We're covering all of our bases. My
You are
lawyer,
digging a deep
my
ass
lawyer
hole, bud.
actually told me not to bring it up.
You're
but,
getting more nervous as we talk about it.
my team.
I
they've-
didn't think you could get more pale, but you
Oh,
have.
brother,
My
it's-
team.
Give me a couple more of these bad boys. Give me 3 of these right now.
And then he'll say it.
Well, yeah. Here's the interesting thing, and I understand what you're saying about when somebody drops it and they're not a black person. It can be startling, and typically I don't. What happened in that case? Because I happen to know the person he's talking about that said it is they went to Europe for a couple weeks. They went over there, and so when they come back,
So they went to the homeland
Right.
and came back a little more brave.
right, and when they come back to continue hosting this show, the whole world will know that we're talking about Michael Rose.
Fuck you, Michael. We're in your house. I just used your toilet, Michael, and I didn't flush.
And we aren't going to flush for the whole 2 weeks.
None of that is true, Michael.
Crazy.
I want you to know this. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I'm like, guys, bad news. Michael called the podcast off. He decided I'm not trustworthy in his home, and we can never do it again.
And the law is on its way.
No,
Because that's the only way we're leaving this house now.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
with a court fucking order.
Did we ever do your 3 for your Thanksgiving pick? Did we get there?
Yeah.
What were your 3?
Yeah, it was
Remind me.
ham, deviled eggs,
Ham, deviled eggs.
and stuffing.
Stuffing. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, stuffing is what I was missing.
We were doing the word game.
We were doing the word game,
game's
but it
where we're
completely
headed.
went off
No.
the rails. And I thought Michael was a bad host, but Jesus Christ.
Hey.
You are
got
herding
distracted by
cats
all-
over
we gotta
here,
get
dude.
these numbers up.
I can't help it. I'm trying to tame this guy. Yeah, at a certain point,
Tasmanian devil.
I enlisted the Tasmanian devil to bring some stability to this podcast.
Nathaniel's talked to me enough to know this wasn't a good
Oh, I knew
idea.
exactly what I was getting. There's a reason that he's here.
I'm
I
also
like
not
the
getting-
chaos.
Not getting paid for it.
That's good, Nathan.
That's not true, dude. I'm paying him a lot to be here. He just
called
doesn't
you
want to
Nathan.
say it. We're very close. That's
Nathaniel.
why.
And you have just glazed right over.
Oh,
it.
we're very close. So he
Nate.
calls me by my
I
name.
call him all the syllables versions of his
Sometimes
name.
he just calls me the N-word on stage. And that was him. That was him the whole time. Okay, this word
All
game,
right.
we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes.
And it's not going where you think
And,
it is.
and
Yeah.
well, that remains
So
to be
we're
seen.
just trying to get.
Trying to get on the same wave.
Okay.
This is all
Okay.
about bond.
Okay.
This is all about
We're reading
being
each other's
close.
minds.
All right.
You're going to be brothers by the end of this. Okay, so
right.
I'll count down from 3. You just say whatever word comes to mind. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Race car.
NASCAR.
Hold on a second. Did you get
Yeah! Trash! Trash! It doesn't matter where you're from! Trash! I said race car. He said NASCAR.
said NASCAR.
what kind of a low-income miracle? And we do want to thank Food Stamps for sponsoring the Talkin Bits podcast. What the fuck just happened? How is it that the two of you...
Brilliant. Just-
Okay, but technically, somebody said NASCAR, somebody said race car, so technically we're off.
Yeah.
Technically we're off. So I'm going to do it again. We'll see if we can get it on this. Okay, two tries is just
right.
fucking crazy. Okay, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Dale
3.
Earnhardt.
Oh,
I said 3. He said Dale Earnhardt.
We're there. We're so close.
this is bullshit. Okay, this I swear to God, for anybody listening, I didn't plan any of this.
We don't
They
even know
did
where
not
we could
know.
go after that.
I swear on my life, none of this was rehearsed.
No, nothing. I've
Okay.
met Pruett once.
One time.
Passing-
Yeah.
passingly.
Once in passing. Yeah.
I'm starting to think you're his long lost son or something. Okay.
trying to think.
What's your mom's name? How old are you, boy?
You'd recognize the back of her head.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
All right.
Turn around real quick.
Count to
Did you get
3.
your hair from your mama? Holy shit.
we do look similar.
Holy shit, Brittany.
He got his mustache from his mom, dude.
Oh, in that case, Cassandra.
Yeah. Okay.
How you been?
I'm gonna count up. I'm gonna count 3. We're gonna do it again. We're close.
is rough.
We're getting close. All right.
The third one's gonna be tough.
This
The
is
third one's going to be fucking way off.
this is a lot.
We're getting further away from each other
You
because
really
we're
are.
trying to meet now.
Yeah.
We're running out of stuff.
Don't try. It. Don't overthink it. Just have a good time. Ready?
All right, hold on. Let's wash it clean.
Let's wash clean. And now, the first thing that comes, I'm gonna do it. And you just say, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Shotgun.
All right.
Oh, we're still in the same white
Well,
trash
we're
ballpark.
there. We're there.
You're still there. Moonshine and
Yeah.
shotgun. We're getting close. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
trailer.
Trailer and wall. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Wall.
Okay. So
Okay.
see, here's
Okay.
the-
Okay.
I think
All
I
right.
know the direction he's going. I don't know if Casey knows the direction you're going.
No. Okay. I've just been coming up with
go
random
that way.
shit. So,
Okay. We're getting close.
Okay. Okay.
Ready? 1.
Wait. Hold on. What did you say last?
I said trailer.
Trailer and wall is where we're
Okay.
at.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Double wide.
Honestly,
Damn
I
it.
just hadn't even got there yet. Like you were counting, and I can remember every word that I know.
Let's just say you said double wide and you won the game.
Yeah, off
That's the end of that segment.
running around in circles over here. We're never gonna beat our first.
Oh, it was so close.
Yeah,
It
dude.
was so
Race car
close.
and NASCAR.
Have you
I'm-
done that on any of the
So
other
close.
podcasts?
No,
that I've not
I've been
watched?
meaning to for months, and we haven't got around to it. I'm glad I saved it for this moment.
That was
All right.
Yeah.
So like. Now you've got to tell me a little bit about yourself, other than you're from fucking Tellico.
Oh, have you been to Tellico?
that's some of the best fucking rock crawling in the fucking world.
He's been through Tellico.
Yeah, people from all over the world come to Tellico.
Yeah,
whether they know it or not.
Yeah, just for fucking like mud buggying and that kind of thing, like Tellico Plains.
Yeah.
It's some of the best four-wheeling, rock crawling and stuff like that.
I'm glad I could be here to witness this for you.
It's also there's just like
you're not my son anymore. I like him better.
This fucking sucks.
So we had people come for that, and for like dirt bikes. There's those off road. Like there's the Appalachian 500 off road trail, the Transcontinental off road trail. I don't know.
Dude, quit bragging.
And then like, well, there's the Dragon. You guys know what the Dragon is?
Yeah, we're familiar.
So that's close. So you do that. You can go up the Dragon, come down the Cherahalla Skyway. You're in Tellico.
You can enter the Dragon too. I've heard that.
Enter the
Dragon is an
Dragon.
option.
All right, now you're starting to fit in the seat.
I lean back.
That was some Michael shit right there.
I lean back.
We were done with that conversation anyways. We was crushing it.
But no, all right. So you're like born and raised there, or?
Well, so I live in Madisonville. Went to school in Tellico because my mom's a teacher there, which apparently is pretty easy. No, I'm just kidding.
She got her letters.
Mom,
she got her letters and her numbers. She breaking them graham crackers right on the line.
I thought we did pretty good for education, for the most part.
Until they started reading.
And then it kind of all fell apart. And it was all just
dude, if you're taking a class called math senior year, you're not doing very good for education, dude.
It's a factory. We're just making factory workers. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's the only job there is.
It's
after
like an incubator for blue collars.
Like, oh yeah. So and that's where I work now, fix machines in a factory. So I love that.
Bragging again, dude. He's on a roll.
Hey, you're making a fucking check, dude.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. All in all, I work 4 nights and then I get 4 nights off.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a weird schedule, but we're doing it. I stayed up for 24 hours yesterday. I went to sleep at 6 p.m. last night and got out of bed around 6 a.m. this morning.
Pretty cool.
And you're how old?
24.
20.
So
he's fine.
Hopefully, I get day shift
What's
soon,
your mom's name?
But Becky.
You better fuck off, bro. You're starting to piss me off. Here's the deal. We can joke about this no more son shit, but you promised my mother something, and it's starting to piss me off.
Oh, she's getting a nice steak dinner.
I
ain't calling her back after that, though.
This 2-timing bullshit is really getting me mad.
Hanging out.
I'm starting to get angry.
How do you think my actual lady feels when she hears shit like this, dude? I mean, she's got a great sense of humor, and I absolutely adore her.
You can talk down on me, Michael Rose, this show all you want, but I was promised a PS5. And until I get said PS5, you are locked into a contract, my friend. I will take this shit to court. Well, you better watch your fucking mouth, is what I'm saying. No, I knew as soon as I found out that Casey was coming to guest host, I only asked 2 people to join us, and it was Travis and Pruett.
It was the right choices.
The trashiest of the trash.
Exactly why.
I mean, you got fucking, an actual, trailer fort survivor.
Right.
and then my hillbilly ass.
Yeah. We don't have Michael here to explain to us what salmon tastes like. We don't need that rich shit over here. We need just
trout.
Yeah, dude. I've had canned mackerel. That's the same shit.
We had potted meat.
Yeah. If you haven't ever came home and your house reeked of salmon patties, I don't want to talk to you. That's what I think.
We made potted meat burritos.
Dude, I've come home and my house reeked of a fucking permanent because Mama was making money on the side doing hair.
Hell yeah.
And now dear God, dude, if I ever smell that shit again, it's
one of my friends, his grandma's house had a little salon built into it because it's what she did. And it smells like that always.
To this day.
Yeah. Like burnt hair.
So like that melted plastic, burnt hair kind of smell.
My grandma did. She worked in a salon. I would hang out with her when I was a kid and sit in the back room where they smoked inside.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
and watch cartoons and stuff. That's nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing you've ever smelled, Casey? Anything that comes to mind where your brain goes, oh, red flag?
Probably like just decaying animals.
It's pretty rough.
I mean,
death on any scale.
I used to work on a road crew, and when deer would get hit, it was in like in a private community, and deer would get hit, and we'd have to go pick them up. So
stinks.
That was my job.
Yeah.
So the thing I have found is if Vicks Vapor Rub can't fix it, then that's the worst.
Yeah.
All right. So anything dead that I've ever smelled, little Vicks Vapor Rub under your nose.
It's clever.
And you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, like bodies and I've been in some very bad places.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like bodies and all that stuff. You know,
I do that when I'm eating Michael Rose's pussy. I put it right there so that I can't smell it.
Damn it. And that's why you're not my son anymore.
He'll like that part.
You had to come out during Thanksgiving for that.
I had to throw him a bone. We've been really shitting on him. So I gotta,
really have been.
We have, and he is actually a very good person, and we wish
he's
him
the
the best.
And I said this on our 1 year episode, but truly, while he's not here, I can actually be sentimental because I can't say it to his face. Michael's the reason the show exists. I obviously love it, but he's the audio side of it. He's the equipment. He's the place we do it. Like there is no Talking Bits without Michael. In all seriousness, now that's not as fun for me to say. So instead, what I'll do is imply that he is a racist because that's more fun for me, and I'll do that until I die.
And a gambling addict,
right?
Well.
Yeah, he can't. He just can't seem to turn it around.
Can't say no to the horses.
He can't do it.
Even the racism, it feels like it's fueled by the gambling. Like
Right.
he doesn't really feel those things, but he wants to see how far he can take it.
Sure, the root of it all is taking a risk.
Gambling, yeah.
Right, and so when he's on stage dropping, that one that we're not supposed to,
and his hair,
he's just taking a risk. Really. Oh, his hair's taking a big.
He's a glutton for punishment.
He really is.
Some would call him brave.
Yes.
Brave is a word,
but
bold and brave.
Bold.
Yeah,
That's bold.
Yeah. Well, he's told
bold.
me on a number of occasions that he personally wants to make America great again, is what he said to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know what he meant by that. In fact, he was shouting it pretty loud. But he when he said it, I thought that's really uncharacteristic of you. It doesn't sound like something he'd say, but he's not here, so I can just tell you that's what he said.
When he said that he thinks that all people of the Ligbetikwa community should be wearing a rainbow on their sleeve so that they can be identified, I was like, oh, Mike, you're going off the deep end there, friend.
Well, that might be where I have to cut. He's going to actually get mad right there. So for anybody listening, if you're wondering why there was some blank audio there, I knew that there was a limit that I could push this harassment to Michael, and I think we just found it.
Pruett's,
I think that's it.
Pruett's mic isn't even plugged in.
I've laughed so hard into this mic, I might have blown the connection.
It's fine. I think that's good. I'm glad that we're there. Fuck, what
were we talking about before?
We were
that?
on something.
We were doing really well, and then you butt fucked it. And
that's what I do.
Teleco wants comedy.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean one bar said that they said, you do comedy? And I was like, you could call it that.
They're like, what's that?
Yeah. And she said that she wanted to do it. And if I knew I could get 20 tickets sold, I would think about it.
I think you could pull off 20.
But it's just...
it's getting people there, though.
Yeah.
20s.
And it's never going to be different people. It's going to be the same people.
No, welcome. Don't tell Tri-Cities to
Well, I'm also talking about, comics that'll come to do that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I could get one, you know what I mean? So
for sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, Michael.
He'll headline for you. Yeah.
He'll do a smooth 45 minutes.
I just hope you're fine with some racial innuendos, because he'll do it.
But no, so you're 24, you got a full-time job.
Yeah.
You're 4 on, 4 off, right?
I get half the year off, and I have quite a bit of vacation. They were hurting when they hired me. They needed people. So
that's a good spot.
They cut me a honey deal on it for sure.
So all right. So how often are you traveling for comedy and all that stuff?
I mean, I do as far as like doing shows or just open
shows,
mics.
open mics, whatever you can get to.
I do an open mic as often as I can. So I'll go to Chattanooga or Knoxville. I would come to Bristol, but it's just too far.
On average, you think over under 3 mics a week?
Probably 3 or 4, I would say.
That's a good number. 4 is a good number.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So,
4 is a great number.
And then some of those mics used to have 2. You could get 2 in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like Knoxville on Wednesdays, you can do 2. And up until recently, you could do 2 on Thursdays in Chattanooga.
Right.
But you can't. It's one of those has moved days.
Mm.
So just I know what mics are where. I have my routine. I know which ones I like to do, which ones I've gotten used to.
Yeah.
So and
having those multi mics in a night is a huge game changer. Like when I was in New Orleans, they have a spreadsheet. They have fucking 12 mics a night. You know, like that. It's just all the time.
So
that's a huge bonus.
The last time I saw Rocky Dale Davis, and I was asking him about New York and everything, and he was like, "Man, I get up 5 or 6 times a night."
That's crazy,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, "How much of that is paid?"
Yeah.
And for somebody at his level, how much of that is paid, how much of that is an open
Some.
mic, whatever, you know.
Some.
But to be able to work on the same joke 4 or 5 times in a night
right.
is just, that sounds like heaven.
Yeah.
But I would not want to live there to do it. You know.
Well, did I tell you my Rocky story? I think I've been. Did I?
Yeah.
When he bumped me.
Bumped, yeah.
He fucking bumped me. Yeah. But
I'm telling you, I would have come all over myself if I got bumped.
Oh,
by Rocky
I was
Davis.
so glad. I was so glad because that show was struggling before he went up, and he fucking pumped a little air in there before I went up. That was at the lab, and it's honestly a great room, and he was super nice. I didn't take it personal. He didn't even know I was there. He has no idea who I am. So it was fine. But so here's on the topic of open mics. I do want to ask because I think Michael and I on this show, starting out especially. In fact, the original idea for this show, Michael wanted to call it This Week at the Open Mic. And the whole thing was we'll talk about what we all experienced as a group at the open mic. And then very quickly that kind of evolved into where it is now, which I think is more of a back alley conversation amongst comics.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is the goal. That's what I wanted out of it more. But we asked Casey in the last episode that he was with Travis, what's the craziest bomb or the craziest thing you've ever seen happen? And I feel like it wasn't that crazy. I feel like you haven't seen some wild shit. Pruett was there for the fight that we've mentioned 1,000 times at the Run Bar. And then I'm curious, Pruett, aside from that, is there a story of a bomb or a crazy show that maybe you haven't shared with us on the show? You have so many.
So everything that I have seen comedy-wise is very, very tame.
Right.
You know, like that fight that got mentioned so much, that was super tame. Nobody bled. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah, it was a shoving
that kind
match.
of thing. Yeah. So like, no, as far as in comedy, you know, in other things I've done in the past and everything, I've been way crazier.
There's definitely some shit that goes down. I mean, you hear horror stories too. We've done, this is 67 episodes of this show now, I think. Yeah. So I've heard 67 different answers to that. And I mean, everything from somebody rushed the stage to a bad heckler to just a bad set personally, you know?
Yeah. See, I'm one of those people that begs for the day somebody rushes the stage.
I can't imagine
I don't think
human.
anybody would ever be so pissed with me as far as like my material and stuff to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I actually wanted to talk to y'all about coming on to this week. With recent events and stuff, you see a lot of comics that are getting very polarizing one way or the other, you know, and I'm up the middle. Like on so much in my life, you know, like I love gay people. I love guns. You know, and like,
well, the whole persona of woke redneck is inherently both sides of offense. Technically, you know, like I personally think, and I'm sure you guys agree, there's really not offense. That it's just something as a society we've decided. There's this line in the sand. It's not really there.
Right.
You're just you, and you happen to like different things that, according to society, fall all over.
And what I'm noticing, especially on comics that have a bigger following, they're getting way more one way or the other. Yeah. You know,
it started to shift.
And I'm like, what? The things that I really liked about them was they were, hey, I'm this and this. I'm this and this. And now it's like, let me focus more on one way or the other. Yeah. And I'm like, are you doing it to gain following? Or are you doing it because you now have been in a certain frame of mind for X amount of time?
Maybe you've had a change of heart due to recent events. I mean, that's all possible. The one thing I'll say, and for some reason, I don't think it's come up one time on this show since it happened. So by the time this airs, it's going to be a little bit of old news. But let's kind of break down the Tony Hinchcliffe Trump rally situation for anybody listening, because we haven't talked about it, and I feel that this show in particular is built for that conversation. I mean, that's kind of why we're here. You know, like the place of comedy in the world is kind of the whole point. So what I'll say, starting out, just for anybody who doesn't know, Tony Hinchcliffe, a very famous stand-up comic, who has a show called Kill Tony, which has, for better or worse, that's a whole separate argument. For better or worse, it has become a lot of people's introduction to stand-up comedy. Yeah. And a lot of people's idea of what stand-up is. It's also become, I've compared it, I think, on the show to Johnny Carson back in the day, in the way that if you are successful on that show, you can build a career out of it. Yep. It's not a must. I mean, there's some bucket pulls that I hope to God they never do comedy again. Sometimes it's very bad due to the format of the show. But there's definitely examples of people who have built a career off of it. So Tony Hinchcliffe at the helm of that show does, I think really for me where it starts is actually the Tom Brady roast. I think that kind of sets the stage for what wound up happening. He goes on the Tom Brady roast. They didn't really want him there. They make a deal that he can sit in the crowd, get up, walk around. He's not on the panel. They can kind of promote Kill Tony, sort of. He goes, he does it, he crushes, and a lot of people are like, this guy's amazing. I would argue most of his attention came after that. Before that, Kill Tony's getting bigger, but he's not a household name. That roast is huge for Tony, for sure.
It was huge for him. And dude, at that level, I don't really pay a lot of attention to anybody at that level.
Right.
Right. Because it's not something I'll ever fucking attain.
He definitely entered a different level up. He swallowed a mushroom.
Well,
boop, 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 right there.
Well, Kill Tony is already like the number 3 fucking podcast on the planet.
Yeah. And it's the number 1 live recorded.
It's the number 1 live recorded podcast. Right. To be interwoven with the fucking Joe Rogan experience and shit like that.
And the mothership now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So he is already so far ahead of anything we'll ever comprehend.
Sure.
So what was his reasoning? How's he doing now? I don't know. I mean, right. He does the Trump thing, right?
So for anybody just who doesn't know, he was one of the speakers at a very long Trump rally.
Yeah,
his set occurred around 11 a.m. I think I've heard that he went on stage right around 11 a.m. and he's doing stand up comedy in an arena of 50,000 plus people. I think maybe 70,000. Regardless of how you feel about it, any stance, I think the thing that everyone can agree on, not the time for stand up.
No,
100% not the time. He should have never been there in the first place.
But
that's just the foundation.
But at the same time, that's the people that were running that campaign.
Right.
That's also knowing their audience and being able to hey, we can get this guy who's really good at talking shit, and that's what he is. He's a roast comic.
Right.
Right.
Well,
can
he
write
also
a roast like that.
Yeah.
So
that time period between the Brady roast and the Trump rally, though, is what I think is really so interesting. Because obviously there's a lot of attention on Kill Tony already. The roast brings tenfold that. And then here, I listened to Tony talk about this because I was curious on his perspective. A couple of things. He said that the Tom Brady roast is the number 1 streamed media ever to exist on
until
Netflix.
A couple of nights ago.
Well, but that was 1.5 billion streams at the time. The following Monday, they do Kill Tony in the mothership, tight budget show, where Shane Gillis comes out dressed as Trump, Adam Ray is Biden, 3.5 billion views on YouTube. So immediately that tells you his draw on his own is more than Netflix has to offer, which I think is fascinating.
Oh yeah,
just in the industry conversation.
That and he has also gotten into places that you didn't think that he would be.
Right.
At this rally. And who would have thought that the month before that, right after the Tom Brady roast, he was on 6 Feet Under with the Undertaker. Right. So he had so many people that didn't know his name.
Right.
Gets on a podcast with the Undertaker, and he sounds he's a little bit feminine when you talk outside.
Well, he's also all of a sudden he's everywhere.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He goes from we know him because we're in comedy. We're aware of Kill Tony. I think largely people are aware of him since the Brady. Brady
absolutely.
And now after this, obviously, and the other thing for anybody who doesn't know, during his set, he had jokes about his own mother at the expense of his own mother and her addiction problems. He had a lot of different material. The joke that got headlines is he said that a lot of people don't know there's an island, a floating island of garbage in the ocean. It's called Puerto Rico. Okay. What I did not know, and I'm curious if you guys knew this because I listened to him, is that there was a headline the week prior that he read when writing this joke that the landfills on the island of Puerto Rico are overflowing and they have an actual waste management issue economically that they don't know how to handle. So when he wrote that regarding that. Now, obviously, I didn't know that. Right. It sounds to me like he's calling Puerto Rico garbage. Yeah. Puerto Ricans garbage. Yeah. Which I think in a comedy club at 11 p.m.
Michael Rose would have said.
Michael Rose would have said, I think that joke would have crushed. I'm not arguing whether or not it should have been done at the Trump thing. I'm saying from the get-go, he shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been doing it.
Probably.
What I'm curious about from your all's perspective is the media, particularly left-wing media, but all media, attached to that and kind of branded him and branded the Trump organization as this, blah, blah, blah. So does it bother either of you to see the thing we all three share that we love so much being commoditized, for lack of a better word? That it became a
That's
talking
part of the
point.
business.
Right.
It always has been. I mean, look at people on both sides of the fence, far left, far right. Both of them use George Carlin memes.
Sure. Oh, 100%.
So like,
and they're as relevant today, if not more, than then. What I think is so interesting, though, is branding Tony as a racist or branding the Trump organization as a racist. And again, I'm on neither side of that argument. What I think is interesting is doing it under the veil of, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, in my personal opinion, I think the words racist joke is an oxymoronic statement. Like, it's a joke. I understand it wasn't funny to you. Maybe it's a terrible joke. Maybe they didn't craft it in the way they should. There is a way to take what he said, craft it, polish it, and get a laugh out of it that doesn't offend people.
I think that anything can be funny.
Right.
But not everything is funny.
Well, Patrice,
If that's the right way to say it.
100%. I think I know exactly what you're saying. And Patrice said one time, he said, you have to, for anybody who's not a comic, you have to understand every joke that goes bad and every joke that goes good, they were told with the same intention.
Yep.
Which is going well. We want to go up there and do good and have a good time and make you laugh. Some of them just don't.
I have been told that I make my children the butt of my jokes, that I'm secretly a homophobic redneck.
I was totally picking that up, dude.
Yeah.
The whole time I've been like,
it was me that told him that.
This guy's so gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those tattoos aren't fooling me.
Closeted. Yeah.
But like, the way I can say a joke has made people think I'm racist, especially in different crowds.
Yeah.
A crowd in Bristol is very, very different from a crowd in Raleigh.
Yeah. Asheville, too.
Asheville, whatever,
Yeah.
But like,
the one that comes to mind for me, for you, is the whole, that half of the family signed up for swimming lessons. That one, I've seen you deliver it, and I've seen a crowd pause and then go, we're fine with it. I've seen that. For some reason, those wheels have to turn for us.
I have seen that joke make an entire room keel over laughing.
Absolutely. Me too.
And then at the same time, seen that joke, and people were very uncomfortable.
Well, there's something to be said for white guilt also.
Yeah.
And I think that's a conversation that is tough to have out of fear of, and to be honest with you, it's my show. I don't care about taking this stance. I think that in many cases, even one in Knoxville not that long ago, I have said something that is funny. That is funny. And I've seen Brandy Augustus or Keith Marcel or whoever in the room with me laughing, showing approval, to which I've turned to a predominantly white crowd and said, look at her. Mm-hmm. Look at her.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's all right. You don't have to fucking clam up and get nervous. I'm not saying go on stage and be racist and hope that a black person approves of it. That's not at all what I'm saying. In that room, though, whatever was said was funny. Now, I think that's different than the Tony Hinchcliffe thing. I think that just wasn't a good joke.
I don't think it was a good joke. I don't, but at the same time, I don't write roast comedy. I don't do it for in all truth, I don't do it for a fucking living. Yeah. So like, who am I to go, on the other hand, I don't, if you disagree with it so bad, fucking don't listen to his shit. Right. If you disagree with it to that point, send an email. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. Write an angry blog post. Do something. So like one of the things that I'm really actually enjoying about the last couple of weeks, the turn of events, is people from certain communities that were very anti-gun, are now super gun. Yeah. And like I'm getting calls, not just text messages and stuff on Instagram. Yeah. Phone calls like, hey,
how do I get a gun?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's how you get a gun. You know, like it's
just go on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And
look for somebody selling a gun case. They're selling a gun.
And
it's true.
Yeah. A $700 case.
A boomstick.
Yeah. All you got to do is Facebook Marketplace, PEW space PEW.
Yeah.
All right. You know,
comes right up.
But no, and it's one of the things I've really started trying to write about, and you know, like one of the things I wanted to explore at the open mics is like, you know, the LGBTQIA plus community getting gunned up, you know, then because only thing I want to do is point out people's similarities. Our differences, we don't really have that many differences.
Being a comic, you're reflecting the society that you see. It's similar to the music thing. Like I know, and I might lose you here, Casey, but on the
banjo,
on the NWA conversation, which we've had on the show, because that was a crucial part of my dad's development, was listening to NWA, and his mom smashed the records, and that was a phenomenon across the country.
Yeah,
white moms, suburban moms are smashing these records. And the NWA argument at the time was, we're writing about shit that we see. Just because you all don't live the life that we live doesn't mean it's not real. I think there's something in that applies here as well, where it's like you're writing from your perspective, and for that reason, it's true. It's coming from your point of view.
Right.
To you, it's true.
And see, like, you've said it a little bit different, but at the same time, what you... The basic, like, across the board is that's your truth. Right. And I hate hearing that.
I hate it.
But
it's true.
But it's true.
There's some validity.
You know, I hate hearing that, and it's true.
Yeah. Casey, what's your truth? If you had to share your truth with the world.
First of all, just on the way up here, I listened to a Big Pun album. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one with twins with Fat Joe.
Right.
You know, Dead in the Middle of Little Italy. And then I listened to an Eve album. So
is it still a player? Is that the album? Is that the same album?
I can't remember the name of the album, but
I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
Yeah. So for the record, listen to a lot of rap music. I just very and like not like I've been listening to albums in general a lot lately.
You know what? You're right. I made an assumption based on that mustache.
Based on the way I look.
Based
on the way I look.
That was wrong.
And the whole time I was listening to it, guess what? I didn't say it.
Now that I
not
don't
even
believe.
Not even in the privacy of my Ford Ranger.
I do not believe it.
But
there's nothing
I think
cooler.
You said it louder in that Ranger.
I don't know. I own
your
guns.
Ranger says it for you. That's what I'll say, dude.
Yeah, that Ranger hard R's everything.
Yeah.
But so
it's weird.
It was funny. Like I was naming off groups because I'm fucking 45, and
you're old.
So many of the comics around here are like 20s, 30s. You know, there's not. I think there's only like 3 of us that are in our 40s.
Yeah. One of them's Grampy. One of them's a guy who markets himself as an old man.
Not my son anymore.
He's. That's all right. You already pissed me off. Talking about my mommy. I'm on her side.
Yeah. You like PS5?
When we split up.
Yeah, give me a PS5.
PS5 is what he calls his dick also.
And he's been wanting PS5 for a long time. But shit, where were we?
Good graphics.
So very few comics in their 40s and stuff. And so I'm talking about groups from like the early 90s and stuff, and it came up with like, listening to like Gravediggers who had the Resurrecta before he was RZA.
Right.
So, just like really early, you could hear the vibes of Wu-Tang before it was Wu-Tang and that kind of thing. Talking and like, I'm talking to like Jordan B about this, and he's like, I've never heard this. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So like to have those kind of influences and still look like this and sound like this and everything,
tough.
And nobody understands
right.
it,
I think we all 3 kind of share in that struggle a little bit. Like I kind of dress the part a little bit more, honestly, but we all definitely do not look like somebody who would know what track 7 on 36 Chambers is. But we probably all do know that that's the mystery of chess boxing. Like we probably just know that inherently. So, and somebody's going to fact check that and be like, actually, it's track number 4, whatever, same album. No, I think regardless of how you feel about the Hinchcliffe thing, stand-up has never been bigger. I don't know when it's going to be
it hasn't.
bigger or if it's going to fall off. Do you worry about the fall off at all?
I don't because I love doing what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
me too.
And so many of us don't care about getting big. You know,
Right,
we just want to be good. And that's
Yeah. We're competing with ourselves.
Yeah, and like talking to Justin while we were at lunch the other day. Speaking of Justin, shout out Justin Mays. Me in Knoxville.
He's the man.
Good guy.
He's the Mays man.
He's lovely.
But like I was like, hey, what do you want to do with comedy? He was like, man, I just want to be good.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what we all want. And the cream rises to the top, and you know, it's whoever you might meet along the way.
Now, there are other tricks, too. I mean, we all know examples of comics that aren't necessarily as funny as some of the opportunity you're seeing them get, or vice versa. Maybe they're not getting the opportunity that you think they deserve. I see that shit all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch come to mind. But regardless of how you spin it, it's fucking... I think we're more in the social awareness now as comics than ever
absolutely.
Before.
Well, I mean, like... If you don't give a shit that it's your, if you're not doing it for a living,
right,
then you don't give a shit,
right?
As far as like how people are going to take you,
yeah.
But if your fucking light bill depends on if you get booked or if this joke works or whatever, then it will change the material you do,
yeah.
You know, because like if Bert Kreischer didn't have the following he did,
yeah,
you know. What would he be doing right now? Would he be on his 5th fucking Netflix special or whatever, you know?
Right. He found another lane. And I think definitely more than any other time before, you can find a lane in comedy.
Well, that and God, I hate talking
you can make
about
your
it,
own
but the
lane.
fucking pandemic changed everything as well.
Right.
Because now you can't do shit if you don't have a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like here, like I've seen really, really amazing comics. And they'll crush in a festival or like whatever. They do really, really, really well. And somebody will come up to them and be like, hey, I'd love to book you. We're out of so-and-so. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like fucking 600 or something like
that.
And they're like, all right, well, you bump that up to about 30,000 to come talk to us.
Yeah. It's a shame. That part I do not enjoy. While I do enjoy that we're very present in society right now and that, you know, it's never been big. I like all that. The views thing does bother me just because there are so many comics who don't have that side to them. So they're never going to reach that 30,000 number, but they
that's
deserve
learning business. That's a business in itself.
Right.
You know, and we've talked about that to beat the dead horse.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like expand the brand, do this, do that, do that.
It's a lot.
We know what we need to do. We still don't fucking do it.
Right.
You
or
know?
you're just not doing it as good as this other person that you're looking at. And that's just a human thing, honestly. Casey, real quick, we do have to wrap up because I was supposed to leave 10 minutes ago. But Casey, I want to ask you, because I forgot on the last episode.
That you were there.
I forgot that you were there. If you could give one piece of advice to a brand new comic who comes up to you in an open mic, what's that one thing that you would tell them?
Don't take anybody's advice unless they're telling you to slow down.
Slow down and
slow
no
down.
other advice. Honestly, two great pieces.
I think that like a lot, and most of the advice I got when I started and even today is slow down, take a moment.
Yeah.
Like there's a laugh there if you wait on it, and they're usually right.
Usually.
But like, and if they say this is funny or maybe this isn't as funny, that's good advice. But when people start trying to give you tags, you have to really trust that person. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's different. It's all the relationship with the person, for sure. Yeah. I think so. When we started doing this show and we realized that our wrap-up question was, what's some advice you give to young comics? There's a certain level of almost humor in that question, and that nobody actually fucking knows. And whatever you say generally can't apply to whoever else you're talking to. It's so specific to you.
Yeah.
Slow down and stage time are the two that we get most often, and they're the two that I think are actually universal.
Yeah.
I think those two always help.
Yeah, just keep doing it. I mean, like, if you actually, and hopefully you enjoy doing it, you know?
Yeah, act like you like it a little bit. Yeah.
So
do it for that reason. Yeah. And taking no one else's advice is also pretty good.
Don't take any advice.
Yeah. That's pretty good advice.
Yeah, be hard to coach. Don't listen to anybody ever.
Yeah, tell bookers to get fucked all the way.
That does help.
Yeah.
That does help.
There's a lot of people who don't love comedy who are in charge of it.
That is true.
That's very true.
That's very true.
There's a lot of people just, no matter how they started, they're just jaded now. Like with anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
and to a point, I really get it.
I do too.
Like,
it's a nightmare.
I experience it. We all, I mean, you've been doing it long enough now to where there's definitely things where you go, that's not what I thought. That's not as glamorous as I thought. For me, it's comics. There's like when I first started out, I thought, we're all a big happy family. Everybody loves each other and there's no ego involved. And then you're like, Jesus Christ.
And that was the thing that like, I loved the hang after the open mic more than anything.
That's what the show is.
And now it's like, all right, I'm going to do my set, hang out for a couple of comics, and then I've got to go.
You got to get out of here.
Right.
But then like, I really started to see why, bookers are so jaded and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you imagine how many videos they get sent every fucking day?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it, like,
just desensitized.
And like how hard it is for them to laugh, where like, especially after you've watched fucking somebody drivel on about, their fucking dead cat or some shit for 4 minutes straight. And you have not laughed. In fact, you've called your therapist and been like, hey, look, we need to schedule up because I'm done. But like,
it happens.
And that's their day. That's their day in and day out is watching videos and going, no. It is kind of miserable. No. Yeah. So like I genuinely feel bad for bookers.
Yeah.
Well, as a booker, I'll say you're right on. Honestly, for me though, it's not. I don't observe festival tapes or anything like that. It's not so much stop and play. In fact, I rarely ever watch an actual set. But it's more the change in attitude from like officially, I'm no longer just another comic, which kind of breaks my heart a little bit because there's definitely circles that I know when I approach it, there's a vibe shift and people start not being themselves. And that breaks my heart, honestly, because the reason I'm in that circle is for what you're trying not to say around me or whatever it is, like talk shit to me. I don't care. Tell me about another booker who's like, just be honest and be yourself. And that's what I personally, and obviously not every booker feels that way, but like it's different. It changes things, but we need it. You need to have bookers. And you got to produce shows.
Exactly. And like with the exception of two people that out of all the people that I've met in the last few years, with the exception of two people, I want to work with everybody. Like, please book me.
It's like, me and Michael Rose. We're the two.
No.
The Talkin Bits.
No. If that were the case, I wouldn't be here.
No, he's here. He's back. Pruett, please, did you have anything coming up that you want to plug?
Or
just socials?
I don't know if all right. So my socials are Pruett Comedy, PRUETT Comedy.
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram, all that good shit. I will be doing a headlining set December 28th at Blue Ridge Comedy. Like I said, December 28th. That'd be great if y'all could come.
Yep.
And early next year, got some bigger things going on, and I will definitely, as soon as that gets nailed down, I will be on here again to scream that from the mountaintops.
Absolutely. Well, it's that time of the year too where everybody's kind of gearing. Like I'm already planning out my schedule for next year, looking at festivals and stuff. We're putting a bow on this year.
Actually, I do want to say, if anybody out there knows anyone that's doing the West End Comedy Festival, if you know somebody that's definitely in it, hit them in the shins with a piece of rebar because I am an alternate and I'd love to go there.
Yeah, right.
I'm going there anyway. I've already got the time off from work. I'm already getting the hotel, but I'd love to be on.
Yeah, the plan is after this episode, I'm going to go to the page for the festival. I'm going to see who all's in it. And then I'm thinking I'll probably give them hepatitis B is the plan. I'll get a syringe.
Perfect.
Manually.
But see, here's the problem. I go a little overboard with things. So it's actually just going to be you on the festival. Everybody else is going to die. And then it's just you're the West End.
Yeah.
Casey, anything you want to plug? Just socials?
Nah, man.
Go ahead. Throw it out there.
Casey_.bean on Instagram. You can message me privately for my Snapchat. Don't look me up on Facebook or I'm going to spam you hard.
Well, Everybody check out Casey's Facebook because I know you're going to. That's what I'm going to do as soon as this wraps. In Boer Comedy, Michael Rose Comedy, even though he's not here, we do want to wish him well one final time.
Hope he gets home safe.
Hope he gets home safe from rehab.
Hope he's got a home to come back to.
Honestly, I don't know.
That's a veiled threat.
We'll see.
I got it. I can't. I held on to this since I walked into the door, because when I walked in, you were saying your fucking screen names and shit, and I almost had a stroke. I thought NLB 423 was bad. He just look. That is
at least mine
terrible. I mean, TERR.
I told it to Central.
Terrible.
I told it to a packed Central Cinema, and when I said it, they just crickets.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, whatever.
Nobody's following. Nobody. Yeah, if we have to spell it, we're not gonna. All right, Talkin Bits Pod on Instagram. Don't tell Tri-Cities. We do have a show on December 28th, but don't go to Pruett's instead. Yeah. I'll undersell my show for you. That's how much I love you. But no, seriously, I almost said who the headliner is, and he's going to be pissed. So you should come to both. That's what you should do. You should be in two places at once. They are at the same time in different cities.
I'll try to get it the next night.
No.
I'll try to get it the next night because I know who it is and I want to be there.
We're not going to, don't worry, we're not going to impact each other at all. Pruett, you're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Casey, thanks for guest hosting.
Nice to see you again, dude.
He's welcome back anytime. Bye, guys. Bye.
Later.